Hello, everyone. Another book today at Cindy Harper Speaks, and we are going to pick up where we left off in our book, Space Shuttle Scam, and we are on chapter 12. So let me share my screen so you can see the book. And there are 14 chapters in the book. Let's see if we can get through all of them today. And then we'll finish this book and find out the mystery. Who's been trying to scare Auntie A into selling her house? Chapter 12. Kennedy Space Center, Ruth Rose said. What would this be doing here? Good question, Dink said. The Space Center is like 20 miles away. The kids explored more of the pond and the woods around its edges. They picked up tin cans, bottles, plastic bags, and an old sneaker. They stuffed it all into one of the bags. I think mosquitoes love me, Josh said. He slapped his neck. Me too, Ruth Rose said. She had a red bite on her wrist. Dink glanced around the pond and the jungle surrounding it. They all had muddy feet and mosquito bites. Let's go back, he said. They followed the old trail back to the barn and bunkhouse. Wait a sec, Dink said. He crossed the yard, glancing toward the picnic table. He didn't see Hannah and Kenny, but her scooter was parked by the back door of the house. Dink found his pictures of the tire marks and held his phone close to the rear scooter tire. He nodded. The grooves were the same. He ran back to the bunkhouse. You were right, he told Ruth Rose. Hannah's scooter made those tire marks we saw. But we still don't know what she and Kenny found there, Ruth Rose said. She left the bag of litter on the ground and they went inside. Check for snakes, you guys, Josh said. They searched the floor, the bathroom, and the blankets on their beds. No critters. Dink washed his hands and pulled his laptop from his backpack. He sat on Josh's bunk and booted up the computer. What are you doing? Josh asked. Looking to see if there's another way to get to that pond, Dink said. He found a map of their area. A few seconds later, they were looking at Auntie A's house on Palm Lane. Dink widened the map to show a bigger picture. Check this out, he said. The map showed a narrow trail that ran from Palm Lane into the woods, mostly hidden by trees. The trail wound through jungle toward the back of Auntie A's property. It's another one, Ruth Rose said. A motor scooter could get through there, Josh said. Yeah, I know, Dink said. And I bet if we followed it, we'd end up back at the pond. They suddenly heard a car on Auntie A's driveway. Ruth Rose looked outside. It's Walker, she said. The kids ran out in time to see Walker stepping out of the car with a leather satchel. The car backed out of the driveway and turned left on Palm Lane. Wallace and Auntie A came out of the house. Why didn't you call us to come and get you? Wallace asked. Walker hugged his sister and aunt. There was an Uber driver waiting at the airport, so I just jumped in, he said. The kids welcomed Walker and they all went inside Auntie A's kitchen. Walker handed a small wrap package to his aunt. Happy birthday, Auntie, he said. Thank you, darling, she said. I'll open it later with my cake. Wallace laughed. Hey, how do you know there's a cake? She asked. Wallace just smiled. Who would like something cold to drink? They carried glasses of lemonade outside to the picnic table. Walker told everyone about his time with his friends from the Space Center. This reminded Dink about the tube, and he ran to get it. We found it on the other side of the jungle, Josh said, as Dink handed the tube to Walker. Goodness, what were you doing in there? Auntie A asked. We were exploring, Ruth Rose said. Josh saw this floating in the pond. He thought it was an alligator. Do you know what those numbers and letters mean? Dink asked Walker. Walker turned the tube in his fingers. The numbers might be a date from last month, he said. We also found tire tracks by the pond, Dink said. He showed everyone the pictures on his phone. They matched the tires on Hannah's scooter. What would Hannah be doing way back in that jungle mess? Auntie Ace said. Walter pointed to Dink's phone. Mind if I borrow this? He asked. My phone's inside. Dink handed over his phone and Walker snapped a picture of the tube. I'll text this to a buddy who works at the Space Center and ask him to show it around. He tapped some buttons and sent the picture on its way. Alice told her nephew about the mountain lion on the property. I don't know what I'd have done if the critter hadn't run away, she said. Good thing Bear was in the house with me. Dink's phone rang a few minutes later. He took the call and listened. Then he said, No, this is Dink Duncan. Walker Wallace sent you the picture on my phone. He's right here. Dink handed the phone to Walker, who stepped away from the table. They watched him pace with the phone to his ear. After a few minutes, he came back. That was Tom Pardue, one of the scientists in the lab, he said. His initials are on the tube. He and another scientist came here in March to take samples. They didn't realize they lost one of their collection tubes. Samples of what? Alice asked. Walker grinned. Pond algae, he said. Tom's really into this stuff. He says a lot of scientists around the world are studying algae because it can be turned into fuel. Algae grows best in hot climates, and your ponds are covered with the stuff. But how did Mr. Pardue know about my ponds? Auntie A asked, and I certainly didn't give them permission. It's Dr. Pardue, and he said he got a call from a woman claiming to be the owner of this property, Walker said. But that's absurd, Alice said. I never called him. Not you, Walker said. Someone pretending to be you. She invited Dr. Pardue to come and look at the algae, so they came out and took samples. Do they have a motorcycle? Ruth Rose asked. That he didn't mention, Walker said, but he did say some scientists are researching algae sites in Florida. There's talk of building a facility to study the algae forms that are best suited to make biofuel. Pardue asked the supposed owner if she was interested in selling this property. My property is not for sale, Alice said. She told Walker about the postcards and phone calls urging her to sell. Good thing you didn't sell, Walker said. It's possible that your land is worth a great deal of money to NASA and other industries researching the production of biofuel. What's biofuel? Joss asked. A new kind of fuel made from algae or plants, Walker said. Most of the fuel we use now comes from fossils, and it's very expensive to get out of the ground. It's also dirty and pollutes the air. Plus, someday there will be no more fossils because we humans will have used them up. So scientists around the planet are spending trillions of dollars to find other ways to make fuel. One of the reasons they're studying algae is because it replaces itself so quickly, and your algae is exactly the kind they're looking for, or so Dr. Pardue thinks. Do I understand this right? Wallace asked. Some woman pretending to own this land called the Space Center and invited scientists to come here? That's what it looks like to me, Walker said. I guess she got a positive report because she started pestering Auntie to sell. He smiled at his aunt. Hold on to your land, Auntie. Once we get this figured out, you can sell to NASA if they want to buy it. Dink glanced across the table at Josh and Ruth Rose. They looked back at him, and Dink decided it was time to talk. I think I know who's trying to cheat you, Auntie A, he said. 3 pairs of adult eyes turned to him. Who? Alice asked. Chapter 13. Kenny and Hannah, Dink said. What? Wallace cried. Explain, please, Auntie A said. Well, you've been getting those postcards, Dink started. He pulled the latest one from his pocket and laid it on the table. And calls from someone else wanting to buy your house. You didn't answer them, so I think they're trying a new plan. They're hoping to scare you into leaving. Dink told them that he thought the snake didn't just wander into the bunkhouse. Someone put it there. Ruth Rose said they came in while we were asleep and left the snake on the floor. I think Kenny or Hannah did it. Dink said, they know you're afraid of snakes. Auntie A smiled. A lot of people know that, she said. Why do you think it's Kenny and Hannah? They use a really smelly mosquito repellent, and I smelled it last night in the bunkhouse, Dink said. I think Hannah wrote the postcards and put them in your mailbox. There was a note from H on your fridge. I checked the postcard you got yesterday, and the handwriting is the same. I think it's Hannah's. At first, I thought the note might be from Howie because of the H, but no, only Hannah leaves notes on my fridge, Auntie A said. Go on, please. Hannah probably called Dr. Pardue, Dink continued. Kenny is studying botany, so I'll bet he knows that algae can be turned into biofuel. I think Hannah asked Dr. Pardue to come and take samples. He must have told her and Kenny this land could be valuable, so they're trying to get it away from you. Then they'll sell it and make a lot of money. I'll bet they brought Dr. Pardue to the pond on Hannah's motor scooter, Ruth Rose said. Excuse me. Alice closed her eyes for a moment. What about the mountain lion in my driveway? She asked. Was that part of the plan to scare me into selling? I don't think there ever was a mountain lion in the driveway, Dink said. Howie was here and he didn't see it. But I saw the picture on Kenny's phone, Alice said. Easy to fake, Josh said. Wallace, do you have the video of us up in the space simulator? Wallace pulled out her phone, found the video, and pushed the start button. They all looked at the space simulator sailing in the heavens. See how it looks like we're traveling through a real sky, Josh asked, but on the ceiling and walls. That's just sort of how Kenny made it look like there was a mountain lion near your house. Everyone stared at Josh, waiting. Josh blushed pink. I think Kenny took a picture of your driveway, he said. Then he downloaded a picture of a mountain lion from the internet. He put the two pictures together to make it look like the mountain lion was lying in your driveway, but it wasn't. That's right, Dink said. Your car and Howie's van were both in the driveway yesterday morning. Howie said he washed them before lunch. If Kenny had taken that picture yesterday, the cars would have been in the picture too. But they weren't, and that means Kenny took the picture some other time. Hannah would know how to fake the picture, Ruth Rose said. She's studying to become a movie producer. No one spoke for a minute. So Kenny did that to scare me, Auntie A said. And I wouldn't be surprised if Hannah lied about seeing a rattlesnake under the picnic table, Ruth Rose said, for the same reason. Everyone looked at Auntie A. All this so they could get me to sell them my property, which they would sell to the U.S. government for a lot more money. Walker said, does look like Kenny and Hannah are trying to scam you, Auntie. But they're both just students, Alice said. They have no money to buy this property. But maybe MK does, Dink said. He tapped the postcard on the table. I'm sorry, Auntie A said. Who was MK? You were supposed to call MK if you wanted to sell, Dink said. Hannah wrote the postcards and put down the initials and phone number. Could MK be Hannah or Kenny? Wallace asked. She opened her phone. There's one way to find out, she tapped. She tapped in the number, put the phone on speaker, and handed it to her aunt. Let's see who answers. Everyone heard a man's voice say, Christmas Savings Bank, Mark Keene's office. How may I help you? Auntie A's grew wide. Mr. Keene, she said after a few seconds, this is Alice Wallace speaking. I think you're interested in my property on Palm Lane. Why, yes, Miss Wallace, the man said. I have a bank customer who loves your property. They are ready to pay all cash, and my bank is prepared to make the loan. Can we sit down together to discuss the details? Say no, Wallace whispered. I have relatives visiting from out of town, Alice said into the phone, but I'll call you soon to make a date. Mr. Keynes agreed, and the call ended. So the mysterious MK is Mark Keynes, who works in a bank, Walker said. But how does he know about this property? Auntie A handed the phone to Wallace. It's not a mystery, she said. Kenny's last name is Keynes. Mark Keynes is Kenny's uncle, Dink said. Kenny told us he was late picking us up yesterday because he had to bring something to his uncle at the bank. Chapter 14. This is the last chapter. It all fits together, Ruth Rose said. Kenny must have told his uncle about how scientists want to turn algae into fuel. They got Dr. Pardue to come out for a look, and then they made a plan to cheat you, Auntie A. I can't believe Kenny and Hannah did this, Auntie A. I thought they were my friends. I even invited them for a piece of my birthday cake later. Perfect, Walker said. We'll have a nice chat with those two. Wallace laughed. I guess I better get busy baking, she said. The picnic table was crowded when Wallace carried out the cake. Alice had also invited Howie and his wife Dot with Seth and Maddie. Bear lay under the table, waiting for cake crumbs. Hannah and Kenny showed up last, riding on the motor scooter. They parked the bike and quickly sprayed each other with mosquito repellent. Hannah dropped the can in her book bag and they came across the lawn. When they reached the table, Dink sniffed the air. It was definitely the same stuff he'd smelled in the bunkhouse last night. When everyone was seated, Alice said, Kitty, why don't you call your Uncle Mark? Do you think he'd like some of my cake as well as my property? My uncle, he said. How do you know my uncle? Alice tapped the postcard on the table. We know a lot, she said, like how you and Hannah and your uncle tried to get my land from me, how Hannah lied about seeing a rattlesnake under this table yesterday, and we know about the mountain lion, Wallace added, or should I say, fake mountain lion. Kenny and Hannah looked at each other. Both had turned red. Alice placed 2 slices of cake on a paper plate. Take these and leave my property, she said. Enjoy the cake. I'll escort you, Walker said. He stood behind Hannah's seat. Me too, Howie said, joining Walker. Dink whispered something to Howie. Oh, and we won't report you to the police if you return the diary and Mr. Wallace's papers, Howie added. He and Walker followed Kenny and Hannah to the motor scooter. Dink watched Hannah unlock the small compartment and pull out a thin book and a file folder. She handed them to Walker, then climbed onto her scooter with Kenny on the rear seat. They left their slices of cake on the driveway and sped away. After Howie and his family had gone, Dink, Josh, Ruth Rose, and Wallace sat at the picnic table. They could hear Walker and Alice laughing through the kitchen window. My aunt wanted me to tell you that you can visit her whenever you want, Wallace said, and she'll bake you cookies forever. Awesome, Josh said, but I ate too much cake and my stomach hurts. Ruth Rose giggled. Now you know why you are the red gobbler, she said. Dink gazed up at the moon. I see Blinky, he said. Oh, I'd forgotten about Blinky with all the other excitement, Wallace said. He's still up there. I figured out a way to bring him back to Earth, Dink said. Tell me, Wallace said. What if there was a podcast for people who own cats, Dink said. You could call it Cat Chat. In your story, the astronaut who lost Blinky could ask all the cat owners to send $1 each to NASA. It would get millions of dollars and use the money to send Blinky's owner to the moon. He'd get Blinky and bring him back home. Josh started laughing. Cat Chat, he said. Well, I like the idea, Ruth Rose said. It would be a happy ending. I think it's brilliant, Wallace said. I'm going to work that into the story. I'll put a note in the book telling my readers how Dink Duncan came up with the idea. Dinky saves Blinky, Josh said. He gave Dink a poke. Ruth Rose rolled her eyes. Dink grinned. Okay, so now we know. We got to the end of it and found out who the culprits were. Well. The mystery got solved, and Auntie A's property is just fine, and everybody is happy. It's amazing what people will do to try to scam or swindle other people out of things that are not theirs. So always be on the lookout for dishonest people. If you enjoyed Space Shuttle Scam, please press like, and I'll see you next time at Cindy Harper Speaks. Thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.